to the Diamond Niner Gals podcast. This is episode 8 of the 2024 season. I am Nick, joined as always by Kevin.
What's up, Niner Nation?
Producer Brad making all this work.
Hey.
And the HSC, Ashley Chastain. What's up, Coach?
Good afternoon, guys.
All right. We're in here. It's Monday. I'm going to go ahead. We record these on Monday, and yes, it is April Fool's Day, but we aren't participating in any of that foolishness. Everything we're going to say tonight is on the up and up. So, yeah, I hate this day every year, guys. And am I the only person here that just absolutely hates April 1st?
Well,
I'm
it's
indifferent.
a day for fools like me. We're all fools, so it's kind of a day for us to celebrate, I guess.
I just hate it because everybody thinks they're being so cute, putting out some stupid graphic that's obviously not real, and then half of Twitter falls for it. And like FAU's playing on football on an aircraft carrier today, and I don't need it. Anyway. Everything we're doing tonight's on the up and up, so let's jump into it. Coach, last week we did a show and we started off by talking about how, not the greatest week, maybe not as much good news as we wanted to talk about, but forget all that junk. That's out the window. Whole new week. Let's start midweek by saying, Coach, that the NC State Wolfpack have a lot to celebrate this week. They have a heck of a lot to celebrate. But one thing they don't have is a midweek softball win.
Yeah, that was awesome. We had the opportunity to go up to Raleigh on Tuesday, and we got pushed back to 8 p.m. So the game was originally at 6, and we got pushed back to 8 and went up late to be on the ACC network. And it was just a fun game. We had a lot of fun, and Gigi Barefoot pitched really well and has been pitching really well. She's taken on a lot of innings for us recently. And you saw the Sassy Pony back out on the field, which was really cool. It was a cool moment just to get her back out pitching after a couple of weeks of just some recovery. And the fact that it was NC State, which is where she transferred from, I think that was a little bittersweet too. We kind of talked about that. It was a little bit of a coincidence in her return that it just so happened to be at NC State, but even better. But we just had a lot of fun. I felt like we responded really well from a not so great ECU series in Greenville, and so it was good to get back out on the field on Tuesday, and it was good. We got back really late. I think I got back to Wells Fargo about 2:30 in the morning. I told our director of ops, Sydney Kane, who is fabulous if you haven't met her. But I told her when we were planning for the ride up, I said, hey, like for post-game food, let's just do something that we can eat on the bus because it's so late. Let's just get on the bus. So we ate a bunch of pizza on the bus on the way home, and it was just like a big party on the bus, and we got back at 2:30. And kind of a quick funny story. So we're all exhausted. It's almost 2:30 in the morning. We pull up to Wells Fargo parking lot last Tuesday night, and there was a random tractor trailer parked in the entrance of the Wells Fargo parking lot at 2:30 in the morning. And it was turned off. We were like, what is this? We could not pull into the parking lot. And so that also, it delayed our return by 15 or 20 minutes with us trying to get the tractor trailer driver to wake up and move the truck so that we could get into the parking lot and unload all of our stuff. So that was not on the bingo card for the NC State series, but that happened. But yeah, it was an awesome game. I'm trying to think back to it in my head because it seems forever ago now. But I just really, I think what sticks out to me was just how well Gigi pitched and how well Sam did when she came in there at the end. I think she pitched three innings against NC State, and we played really well. We played great defense. We scored. We were really aggressive on the bases, had some really good base running decisions, and it was a really fun night.
So during those games, Ashley, I guess a lot of those games they interview you during the game. And they interviewed NC State's coach while she was supposed to be coaching third base during the middle of the game.
Yes.
She said she had to go get someone else to coach third base. But talk about those interviews during the middle of the game. How do you feel about doing that?
Well, so whenever we're on the network and there's an in-game interview, I always tell whoever has the headset, the camera guy or whoever's in charge of that. I always tell them, like, listen, because they come to me before the game and they're like, they introduce themselves and they say, we're going to come get you in the top of the fourth, bottom of the fourth, whatever it is. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to forget. So just come chase me down wherever I'm at in the dugout, whether I'm at the front or whether I'm talking to somebody or whatever. I said, I'm going to forget that I have to do this. So just come find me and tell me to come get on the mic. But I don't mind it, to be honest. I think it's a good little break of the game. It always seems to be like 5 seconds, even though I know it's a little bit longer than that, but I don't mind. I don't mind it. The broadcasters, the people that call the game, I've usually spent a decent amount of time with them on the phone prior to the matchup. And so, we've already had a lot of conversation about the team, the matchup, where we're at and what we're expecting from the game. And so I think a lot of times their questions are based on previous conversations that we have had leading up to the game. But I always forget about it. They always have to chase me down.
I'm just impressed that they didn't go over there and try to interview Cass Crupitt, thinking it was you. So that was an upgrade. How aware were you at the time that Abigail Knight was completely stealing your interview?
No idea. Yeah, I had no idea. I thought the way that I was angled on the camera that the padded wall was behind me. I didn't realize the way that I was standing that you could see into the dugout. So yeah, that was pretty funny. I saw that. Obviously, right after it happened, everyone was laughing about it, but then rewatching the game, it was funny. Yeah. And honestly, we should play a trick on everyone and let Cass do the interview once and see how that goes.
I mean, why not?
That would be really funny.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I'd be here for it. I'd watch that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, a lot of people would. She's very entertaining.
Yeah. So the gals get the job done. And as you mentioned, in the circle, that was a Gigi Sassy Pony production. You got 4 innings for Gigi and 3 for Sam. Your RBIs came from Rhodey, Kai Garrett, Ella Chansey, and let's see, Abigail has one as well. So good team effort. It really felt, Coach, like that game was pretty well in hand the whole time. I know it was a tight game, but it really kind of felt, just watching on TV, that the vibe around the game was very good, very positive, and that the gals were gonna find a way to pull that out.
Yeah. We kind of talked as a staff after we left Greenville and we got home from losing the series at ECU. Everyone, we were just really down. Like the staff was down, the team was down. Like we didn't have great emotions going into last week from that weekend. And so we get up to Raleigh and, Katie and I, Katie always talks a lot to the team before the game. She's really good at that. She goes through our scouting report and, plans against pitchers and, defensive shifts and all that. And she always has a great message for the team. And, we're kind of on the same page with our messaging. She just talked about how, we have to stay as neutral as possible, during the game because, sometimes we find ourselves, just especially offensively, like just, wanting to get the hit so bad that like we just, our emotion is channeled in the wrong way instead of it being channeled into, what we call a competitive plate appearance, a CPA. We track all that in the dugout. And so she just talked about being neutral to get the job done, of staying really even killed and letting our emotions serve us. And, I kind of told the team, after she addressed them, like right as we got on campus, that I just felt like we can't ever let adversity make us question who we are. And I felt like the girls were kind of borderline walking that road a little bit after we left ECU. They were just, kind of down and probably questioning like what we're about and who we are and, what we do. And, we just kind of rechanneled and recentered ourselves on who we are as a program and, what we've set out to do. And we're not going to let a little adversity make us question those things. And so that was the message I had for the game. And I just thought they relaxed and just had a lot of fun, which is really kind of a message that we took into the whole week of just being able to play free and trust our preparation and trust everything that we've done up to this point. When the game starts, just play the game. We don't have to do anything more than that. So I thought it was a really good game for us going into the Wichita State series because that was such a crucial series and conference. So I agree, Nick. I felt like we really controlled the game from the start. And offensively, like you mentioned, Kaya, Abby, Ari, Ella, I think were our RBI producers in that game. But we had a lot of base runners. We had a lot of action at the plate. We had some key walks when we needed them. So I just felt like the game was ours from the start. And that was just the way that the girls approached the game with a lot of belief and confidence in who we are. And, I think they expected to win when we got there. And I thought that was the difference.
Yeah. Well, let's move forward and talk about this weekend. I'm going to do something that you probably shouldn't do, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. 3-game set this weekend. The Niner Gals take the series win. But the number one question that we've gotten, and we always try to give our listeners what they want, the number one question that we've gotten about this weekend series actually involves Game 3. So let's skip forward to Game 3, and then we'll come and work our way back. I have never seen a field be stripped and relined after the game had already started. But that happened in Game 3 on Saturday, and everybody I've talked to said, man, what was going on? Why did we stop and reline the field? I have no idea. So, Coach Chastain, the most popular question, the number one listener question for this week, in Game 3 against Wichita State, why did we stop and erase the field and reline it after the game had already started?
Yeah. Was it Game 3 or was it Game 2?
No, that was on Saturday.
Okay, I'm trying to think back. For some reason, I thought it was Game 2, but it all runs together at some point for me. You know?
Sure does.
So
it was we started a game, and after I believe one batter, we stopped and took a 30-minute break to reach off the field.
Yeah, so it was game that Lena Elkins started for us, and she loaded the bases. And we had bases loaded with nobody out. And this had also never happened for me yet in my career. This was a first for me too. I actually was on the phone with Chris Thomason, our sport administrator, who was not at the game. And he was like watching the game from where he was. And he started texting our director of ops, Sydney, of like, what is going on? Like this, of course, the one time I'm not there, like, we have this episode with the field, but we have not a little, but it's a pretty big robot. I don't exactly know what you call it. I think that our grounds crew has named him Carl, I think. But Carl lines the field, and it's calibrated geographically to the field. It knows all its coordinates and things. And Carl didn't do a very good job for the first time since we've had him. And we used him all fall. We've used him all spring. And we've had a great experience with him. But for whatever reason, he was off. He lined the field not exactly how it needed to be lined. And so we first noticed it. The third base line was off. So the line was sticking out of third base about 3 or 4 inches. And so the line wasn't lined up. And then I think the Wichita State head coach, Christy Bredbender, noticed it, and then she brought it to the umpire's attention. And then the umpire called time, and they were looking at the batter's box, and the batter's box was also shifted over. So it's like the robot drew the lines, shifted over towards left field, the left field line, about 3 or 4 inches. The whole field was off, and it doesn't seem like a big deal, but Christy just asked them to take a look at it and to redo it. Well, there's really no way to just reline one part of the field. And so the umpires asked our head grounds guy, Kyle, to completely swipe the field, drag it, take up the bases, drag the field, and start over again. And just do it by hand with the hand painter that we have. So that was the delay. And we made a pitching change in the delay. So then Brooke Bowling came out with bases loaded and got the next 3 hitters out after a 30-minute delay of relining the field. I mean, it was wild. The whole thing was wild. And
you're right, Coach, that was game 2.
It was not on the bingo card for the Wichita State series.
Yeah. So I guess guessing Carl was not in preference on game 2.
No, he was not. There was definitely something off, and we didn't chance it for game 3. The game 3 field was hand painted as well, and so I don't know if Carl's in the shop or exactly what he's doing right now, but he'll be back soon. Yeah, he'll be back soon.
I'm glad you explained that, because if you just started talking about Carl screwing up the field, I would have thought we were talking about Carl Tisdale, and I wouldn't have really known what he had done. And so I'm glad we got that sorted out. Now, the first time I remember, you tell me when we got Carl, the first time I remember seeing this happen with a robot was at Duke last year. Mm-hmm. That's the first time I saw a robot paint the field. Did we get Carl after that? Is that how the timeline works? We had already been in process of getting Carl at that point. So when we saw the one they have at Duke in the regional last year, we had already, I think, purchased it. The university purchased it. I think it does a bunch of different stuff on campus. So it does other athletic facilities that need painted lines, and it does other stuff on campus. But he comes down to our field for game day and paints the field. But yeah, it took us a while. From what I was told, it took a while to order him, to do all the paperwork with the state, all that stuff, because he was pretty expensive. So I think it took a little while to get him here in Charlotte. But he's here, and this was the first mess up he's ever had. It was quite comical, the whole thing. And then bases loaded, nobody out, 30-minute field break, pitching change, Brooke Bowling comes in, and we get out of it with no runs. I mean, we're just in the dugout like, what's going on? Yeah. It was awesome. Yeah. If it had been me and we had bases loaded with nobody out, just for the people, right? People probably wonder this too. I would have not stopped the game and asked them to reline the field. We would have kept the momentum if it was other way around.
Yes. Keep the pressure on. I agree. Yeah. I would not want to mess up with the momentum we had going.
No.
But I wonder what the odds are of them not scoring in that situation. It has to be pretty small.
It was low. Yeah. Brooke did a really good job coming into that situation.
Okay.
She's been doing a great job lately, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Brooke's really emerged. Well, why don't we, now that we've cleared the air about Carl, now that we know, and Kevin, I asked the question about, now that I know his name's Carl, I asked the question about Carl if he also delivered snacks on campus. Because, we have those little robots that roam around campus, they'll bring you a 6-pack of soda or something like that. I don't know. Maybe Carl does that on the side, but maybe.
Yeah.
They'll get Carl recalibrated. We're a technology school. They'll get Carl recalibrated, and he'll be back, and he'll be better than ever. So,
gosh, I really hope his name is Carl. I'm sitting here thinking, I think that's what they call him. I'm gonna laugh so hard if I got that wrong.
Well, maybe we just changed his name. Maybe we just changed his name. I mean, it really doesn't matter. What is it we say, Kevin? We're influencers. So Ashley has come on the show and just changed the robot's name. Works for me.
Maybe.
Yeah, works for me. So let's talk about that Wichita State series. It's no secret this was a big weekend for the gals and for the AAC in general. These two teams were picked very highly preseason, 1 and 2, as a matter of fact, and they both are high up in the standings coming into this weekend. And so this had a very conference tournament, regional kind of feel to it, because these are the kind of caliber programs that both sides have. And starting on game 1 and continuing into game 2, the gals really brought it and came away with a pair of W's to claim the series.
Yeah. It was an awesome performance from the gals. I'm so proud of them. They could have gone into the series super tight and just like they had something to lose, because it was a big matchup for us. And we've got a couple of those coming up with some of our conference foes that are close to us in the standings. And I just love how they handled it. We talked a lot about just playing free and, just having as much fun as possible. And, we schedule the schedule that we do. And sometimes like there's a lot of pressure that comes along with it that I just worry sometimes the girls don't enjoy it they're just so like, afraid to fail or to lose, a game. But so we just hammered home, like, this is why we schedule why we do is just having the opportunity to play such a matchup here in Charlotte. It was a really close RPI matchup going into the series. And then even after Thursday's game, after Friday's game, our RPIs are just like neck and neck, just switching back and forth. And, it's a very common schedule. I think both teams have been challenged equally throughout the season so far. So I think the girls just kind of really relaxed and enjoyed having such a great matchup at home. So, I'm looking back here at some of the box scores and stuff from game. This is always fun for me because I kind of relive the game. But yeah, I think game 1, let's see, I'm looking at it here. Yeah, I think I clicked on the wrong game. But I think for me, like, I just want to continue to shout out Gigi Barefoot. She threw 4.1 for us in the first game, and she just did really well. I think she gave up 1 earned run in her 4.1. And for us going into the matchup as a pitching staff, our goal was to mitigate damage between their top of their order. So Wong and Barnard, if you watch the series or if you know anything about Wichita, those are their heavy hitters at the top. They're really good, and they've seen a lot of success this year. Wong was hitting almost 500 coming into the series, and she's their lefty leadoff. And then Barnard is an All-American, and she's ridiculously good at the plate. And also in the outfield, she robbed Winnie twice this weekend in center field and plays really great defense. So our kind of plan going into the weekend was to really mitigate the damage that those two did. And for me, assessing the 3 games, the game 1 and game 2 that we won the series, we really limited what they were able to do. If they got a hit or if they saw any success at the plate, it was really low leverage for them. It wasn't in a big moment. It wasn't a moment that really turned the game their way. And I felt like that was the difference in game 3, is that we did not do as good of a job on that game 3. Wong and Barnard combined for 5 RBIs in game 3 of the series, and essentially pretty much the reason that we lost, if you're just kind of looking at the box scores. So I thought that Gigi started off really well against them and kind of set the tone for how we were going to pitch, the rest of the series against those guys. And Sam made an appearance, 2.2 there at the end. We played really great defense too all weekend. Gigi actually kind of fell over a soft right side ground ball the first inning that ended up scoring a run. but we just didn't let it. She didn't let it phase us herself, and then the team didn't let that phase us early in the game. So I was really proud of him. I thought that Corey Hoffler had a heck of a weekend at the plate. I've been kind of looking at the numbers from the series, statistically, and just in the Wichita State series, Corey Hoffler hit 444 on the series. She had 4 hits, a double, a home run. Her on-base percentage was 500 on the weekend. London Dirks coming in clutch with the comeback hit to tie it up in the end of game 2. She hit 429 on the weekend. She's somebody that I really love to shout out. London has been in many different roles in her career so far with us, but as of late has really earned a starting spot at the beginning of the game in the order, and it's just been really handling it like a pro. I'm really kind of rising to the occasion, and really proud of the way she performed. She had a heck of a weekend at the plate, a really big difference for us at the bottom. Rhodey had a 400 weekend, had 4 hits, obviously did really well. Kaya Garrett, Ella Chansey. So all those guys, kind of continue to kind of trend up as we get here in the month of April, which is what you want to see from your offense. As an offense, we hit right at 300 on the series. So I felt like we did really well, especially out of the bullpen. We struggled with Aguilar game 1 and game 3. We ended up figuring out, obviously, in game 1. But anybody that came out of the bullpen other than Aguilar, who started both of those games, we handled really well. So, I was really pleased. I mean, it's a big series for us. It'll be one that we look back on when decisions are made, when, the conference standings are determined for the tournament. It'll be one that we're really glad we can check that we won the series.
Right, Coach. And you mentioned the tough schedule. It's all kind of coming together. The tough schedule you mentioned at NC State, we walked on the field like we knew we were going to win, or with confidence. You're seeing you're naming all these different players. Everyone's contributing. So it all doesn't fall on one person's shoulders in this lineup or in the pitching staff. So it's all kind of coming together. You've got I think 5 weeks left in the regular season, and I think we feel like we're hitting a good stride here after a long road trip. We get back home and get a good big a series win over the predicted conference champ from the AAC. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think we're right where we need to be. Every week is really hard for us. Every week we have tough opponents, and I think going into this week that's ahead of us, we've actually got 5 games this week instead of 4. So we've got a little bit larger volume because we're playing Tuesday and Wednesday this week, which is a little rare for us. It's just sometimes scheduling works out like that. You have to find, common dates that work, and, there's a lot that goes into it. So, but I'm excited about the week. The gals are going on the road to Longwood, and then we're actually going from Farmville straight to Durham. We're not coming back to Charlotte on Tuesday night, and going straight to Duke for that matchup on Wednesday night, and then coming back for FAU. And as you guys have alluded to, the standings, FAU is someone right at the top that's been playing really, really well since conference started. And so that's another big matchup for us this weekend. And we're thankful that it's at home. We love playing in Charlotte in front of our fans at our place. And so we're excited to have FAU here this weekend.
I don't know how this worked out. I will put in one quick plug. The bottom, that game 2 against Wichita State, if you were not in the right field bleachers for the bottom of the 6th inning, you missed out. I can't even just begin to describe to you what it was like out there in that bottom of the 6th when y'all made that rally from 3 down to 4 up. Unbelievable. If you have not taken in a game from the right field bleachers, you need to go do that. Now, I don't know how y'all made this happen, but the way this schedule has worked out by the conference, everybody that the gals are competing with in the standings on the top half, we host. So we hosted Wichita State last weekend. So we got that opportunity. This weekend, like you said, we host FAU. We also host Tulsa. We also bring the last weekend of the season, bring North Texas in here. It's like everybody that you're competing with for the title, and that's what we're talking about here is the conference regular season title. Everybody that still has a shot at the title has either already come here or will come here. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool. I mean, those things are, to my knowledge, kind of completely randomized of how they put the schedule together. With the American, it's a little different than Conference USA. We play everyone every year. So there's 10 opponents or 10 programs that compete in softball and the American. And so we'll play 9 weeks of conference with no bye weekend. So that was a little different for us coming into the league this year. And every year we either have, we have 4 away trips this weekend, and then we have 5 home. Next year it flips. We have 5 away, 4 home. So it just kind of alternates every year. And yeah, I mean, we've got UTSA and UAB left on the road, and then everyone else here at home. So it's just kind of crazy how it worked out, but we're really excited about it. It's such a fun journey. We enjoy going on the road because we enjoy spending that time together. You kind of get away from your life here and all the distractions and school and, all the things that pull you in a million different directions here. Because when you go on the road with a team, that's all you got going on. And so it's a lot of really great quality time. And, you're in the hotel. I mean, when we were at ECU on the rain out Saturday, we played Family Feud in the conference room for a couple hours as a program. It's one of our favorite things to do. Super fun. And so you just, you create those times and those memories when you go on the road. I think when it comes to a big matchup, like a Wichita State or an FAU or what we anticipate North Texas to be at the first week of May, you want to play those at home. So the schedule is definitely working in the Niners' favor this year, but that was not by my design. It's just how it worked out.
Who is your Steve Harvey when y'all play Family Feud?
Michaela Mitchell. And it is like one of the best impersonations I've ever seen. And it started with last year's team, and this year's team, we've just kind of kept it up, and it's so fun. We have all the noises on the phone, like all the, when you get an X, like, we have all the songs. We break up into 2 teams, and it gets really intense, but it's also hilarious. It's a good time.
Do you create team names like the Chastain family or something crazy like that?
That's a good question. I don't think we did an ECU. We just broke up the room in half. But CJ Layton and I were on the same team, and we got into the fast money round, and we killed it. We crushed it. We won. Our team won.
Well, we're going to need video of Michaela's Steve Harvey impersonation, I think. Maybe we can get video of that at some point, but
yeah, we'll film it next time we play. It's worth the watch. It's really funny and a lot of fun.
I'm here for that. I would totally log in and watch that. So
I love Family Feud.
I mean, that was fun, wouldn't it, Kevin?
Oh yeah.
I mean, probably better than like watching us talk about it. I mean, come on, it'd be great. I don't want to glance over Longwood because going to anybody's place is tough. They are 11-20 on the season. That game is at 5:00 on Tuesday. It does not look like there's any coverage for that game at the moment. So probably just going to have to maybe there'll be a game tracker or Twitter at the minimum to follow that game. But you have a quick turnaround, like you mentioned, to Duke. Now, Duke on Wednesday night at 5. Looks like it will be on ACC Network Plus. So if you log into the ESPN app, you'll be able to get that game at 5:00 on Wednesday. Duke is 29-3. top 5 in the country. This is your last, and this one thing this team has done this year is you have collected some P5 scalps. This is your last. This is you and the gals' last chance to do that in the regular season, and this might be the biggest one of them all if you can pull it off. So, what should we be looking for on Wednesday night at Duke?
Well, it is a big game for us. It's a big matchup. We obviously at this point, I feel like we have a lot of history with Duke. We've played them pretty much every semester, fall games and spring, since we've been in Charlotte for the last 5 years. And, Marissa Young and her staff, they've built a really successful program. They have a lot of really good players, and they're tough. They have a lot of tools all over the field. We went there last year for the first regional in program history, and played them a couple times. So, I think we need to play our best, and that is something that we talk a lot about. We committed to doing that. This group made that commitment of always doing our best, and what that looks like, and we talk through that a lot before our games. That game it's going to be really good softball. It'll challenge us to be our best. They've got some really good pitching, some arms that have been there for several years. Jayla Wright, Cassidy Curd, gals that have got really great experience, a lot of innings pitched, a lot of success there. It's just going to take our best. But if we show up with anything other than expecting to win and the belief that we're good enough to win, then it's not going to go our way. So that's where it will start for us, is the belief that we took to NC State last week, the belief that we have against Wichita State, rolling that into this week, and just believing in who we are and what we're about. And the game doesn't know. Sports are crazy. You guys know, baseball and softball, anyone can beat anyone on any given day. So, we're just, rolling in there. The last time we were there ended our 2023 season. So, a lot of our players are going to have, a little bit of a chip on their shoulder just to get back and compete in that venue and, give the game our best. And that's really all we can do. So, we anticipate really good pitching from Duke. They've also hit really well this year. It'll be a really good game for us and an opportunity for us to continue to build our resume and our strength of schedule and just really good experience. It will definitely have a regional feel. The game will feel like an NCAA regional game for us, and that's what we're looking for, is to put ourselves in that position.
All I can tell you is I hope our dear friend and friend of the program, Taylor White, leaves with an L. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Respectfully, of course.
Right. Respectfully, with all
absolutely
due respect.
With all due respect, Taylor. Yes.
I hope you lose. So after that bit of business, after a business road trip to the exotic locales of Farmville, Virginia, and Durham, North Carolina, the gals will be back home this weekend for a big matchup against FAU. Those games, of course, will be on ESPN Plus. FAU 30-8 as well, and someone that we're going to have to go through in order to get where we want to go, which is the top of the standings. So, Coach, what can you tell us about FAU?
FAU can pitch. They could pitch last year. They've got a really deep pitching staff. I was glancing kind of at some of that stuff today, and they kind of have a little bit of strength in numbers with staff. Their staff is kind of a lot like ours. We have, multiple people that have had a lot of usage. And so in preparation for us, you have to prepare for more than just one arm, right? So that was the whole point. Like you don't just prepare for Sam Gress. We now have to prepare for Barefoot and Elkins and Bowling. And then we've got some others that have had some innings. So, they're the same way. They've got 4 arms that have thrown a decent amount for them. And they return Gabby Seiko, who was the conference pitcher of the year, I believe, in Conference USA last year, and had a really, really great season in Conference USA in 2023. We have a lot of history with her, a lot of data, a lot of at-bats. obviously a really good arm. And then they've got Ansley Lambert, who has thrown a lot for them. They've got another kid that we haven't seen before, number 3. I'm blanking on our last name or jersey numbers 3 right now. But they've got a sub-3 ERA as a pitching staff with multiple arms that have contributed to that ERA. So, I think it'll be a good test for us offensively, facing their pitching staff. I think that's both of our strengths right now is just how deep the pitching staff is on both sides versus Wichita State, which was a little bit different, right? It was their offense versus our pitching staff. So I think, the matchup will be very much pitching based, very much defensive based this weekend against FAU. And we'll just let the offense do their thing, Right. We just got to score one more than the other team is what we talk about. So
producer Brad coming through in the clutch. Number 3, Trinity Schlotterbeck.
Schlotterbeck, yes. Yeah. I would have butchered that the first time I said it. So
I may have just done that as well. I hope not, but that's the best I got on short notice. Trinity Schlotterbeck. We'll get that work. I'm sure we'll all have that worked out by this weekend. Yeah,
and I think it's worthy to note that I think FAU, this is year 2 for their coaching staff, and I think they're a lot like us in the fact that they've really tried to elevate and build the program with a lot of transfers. So just getting a lot of new blood into the program over the last couple of years. Jordan Clark and her staff have done a really good job recruiting these transfers to come in and then recruiting better freshmen to come in and influence the program. So they're on the rise, and for us, like, it's a really great thing that, they're making our conference better. You look at the American right now and it's like, gosh, this could be a 3-team, a 3-bid league to the regionals when it's all said and done. So
sure.
Easily three at this point. So that was, kind of looking back, like that's why we were really excited about going to the American, is that this is a multi-bid league, and the top of the conference right now is really proving that to be true. So really excited about it.
Kevin, I know this is not supposed to be true, and I won't even ask Ashley to comment on it, but I feel like brand name plays in these selections. When you start talking about at-large bids, and all that is to say, I feel like that the brand around Charlotte softball has improved. Now, the committee members would say, oh, it has nothing to do with it. But I think that at this point, not only the success we've had the last few years making the regional, and then the scouts that the gals have collected so far this year, I think when you say Charlotte softball, people in the industry go, oh, yeah, we know them. We know what they're about. And I think that helps. I think that helps with bids and at-large bids and things like that. Again, Kevin, they would say absolutely not, but I think it does.
Yeah, and once you've broken the ice like we did last year and getting into the tournament, and then we've been in the national media for several years now, getting a lot of publicity. So yeah, I do believe you're right. We do have a reputation now.
Yeah, there's a brand around Charlotte softball now, and I think that only helps moving forward with a number of things, including tournament selection. Just my opinion, but all right. So let's just recap that for you. Friday at the Sioux this weekend, Florida Atlantic. Friday at 6, Saturday at 1, Sunday at noon. All those games will be on ESPN Plus. But if you're within, if you're within a certain radius of the Sioux, don't watch on ESPN Plus. They do a great job with those broadcasts, by the way. But come out to the right field bleachers. That's what I suggest. Come on out. It's the weather. The weather's been great. Spring is definitely here. Take your Benadryl if you have those kind of issues with pollen, and come on out to the Sioux and watch these gals play, because it has been a lot of fun watching them do their thing. And like I said, when we were making that comeback in game 2, it was electric. at the Sioux. So don't miss out on any more. If you've missed out on it already, don't miss out on any more. Please don't.
And we do have some promos. I'll get them in.
What are the promos, Kevin? Let's hear the promos.
Friday, 80s theme. Wear your best 80s theme clothes, 80s music throughout the game. Saturday's 90s theme. So same thing with 90s music. And then Sunday is 2000s. So that's right in our wheelhouse, man. 80s, 90s, and 2000s music.
I actually still have things from the 90s that I wore, so I could probably just dig them out and put them on and head to the Sioux.
There you go. Me too, Nick. Certainly the 2000s.
All right. Well, Coach, we're going to let you go and get packed. You've got a business trip to go on here. Can't wait to see how the gals handle this. We will certainly be watching on Wednesday night, and we'll be getting information on Tuesday night any way we can. Just follow what you're doing.
Yeah, Shelton Moss, our sports information director, is traveling with us. And so I would imagine that he'll be tweeting per the usual in the Longwood game. So don't fret about, it not being broadcasted. There'll be a way for you to follow because Shelton will be with us and he does a great job.
Yeah. Can't wait. All right, folks, that's it for us. If you've enjoyed this, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel and turning on notifications. If you've also enjoyed this and you know other people that enjoy the Niner gals on the diamond, maybe send this to them. Share, send a link. Let people know about the show because it's a great way to get inside this program. And the information that the coaches and players bring you here is just fantastic. I enjoy this so much. Sometimes I find myself just kind of watching like I'm watching this on a show as opposed to participating in it. So, if you know somebody that's interested in Charlotte softball, share this with them. Let them know about it. You can also find it on Spotify. Diamond Niner Report. We're all over social media, primarily Twitter, but also Facebook and Instagram. So don't be afraid to head over there and follow us there either. So that's going to do it for us. For Kevin, for producer Brad, and Coach Ashley Chastain, this is Nick saying, hey, we'll see you at the Sioux.